What is up, guys? Delboy here. So, a good fight has been announced in the welterweight division. Keith Thurman will be taking on the legendary Manny Pacquiao. This fight will be for the WBA Super welterweight title that is held by Keith Thurman, of course. Great fight, big fight at welterweight. Definitely looking forward to it. This isn't my official prediction. I will make that a lot closer to the time. I need more time to think about it, and I need to re-watch a few fights of both guys before making my official pick. But I've got to say, I do believe this fight has a few interesting intangibles that, kind of intrigue me. The first being, obviously, Manny Pacquiao. He's not the fighter he was. How much is left in the tank? Does he still have enough to hang with young guys like Keith Thurman? Can he still pull something out of the bag at this stage of his career? Or is this the fight where Manny Pacquiao gets old overnight? And as for Keith Thurman, we all know the guy suffered a lot of injuries in recent years. He's been very inactive. In fact, Keith Thurman didn't even have a fight in 2017. He only had one fight in 2016, and he's had 3 fights in the last 3 years. So Keith Thurman has been very inactive, and he's had injury problems. And not only that, in Keith Thurman's comeback fight against Josecito Lopez, we've got to be honest, Keith Thurman really didn't look good at all. In fact, he was hurt badly in that fight by Josecito Lopez, and I felt that fight was a lot more competitive than the scorecards let on. So maybe, despite Keith Thurman being a lot younger than Manny Pacquiao, maybe he's on the slide too. Maybe injuries have caught up with him. Who knows? I don't think that's an unrealistic possibility. And even if you brush the injuries and inactivity aside, people out there have also questioned the desire of Keith Thurman. Some people say he doesn't have that same hunger he once did. On the come up, he was very vocal about who he wants to fight. He was very vocal in saying he wants to fight the best. In fact, a few years ago on the come up, one of Keith Thurman's famous sayings was, "I've got an O and I'm not afraid to let it go." Well, in recent years, it seems like Keith Thurman is very afraid to let go of that O. He doesn't seem willing to fight guys like Errol Spence Jr., for example, and it seems like he may be hanging around boxing to try and score these mega paydays, against the likes of Manny Pacquiao, for example. But interesting. It's an interesting fight. There's a few things to look out for. Obviously, prime for prime, I would pick Manny Pacquiao in a heartbeat. I think he would take care of Keith Thurman in, a relatively straightforward fashion. But in 2019, given the state of both guys, who knows? Who knows? In fact, I will be very intrigued to see what odds the bookies open up at. That'd be very interesting to me. But yeah, I like the fight. I do think it's competitive. It's a big fight. It will gain some type of casual fan base attention. So I think it's good for boxing. It's good for the welterweight division. And it's certainly good for Keith Thurman's career. He does need a marquee fight. He's been inactive in recent years, like I said. And, this fight will do good for his profile, especially if he wins, despite Manny Pacquiao being past his best. As for Manny Pacquiao, he doesn't really need this fight. He's fighting now because he wants to fight. And despite that, despite being 40 years old, he's still fighting for best. And he puts a lot of guys in boxing to shame. When a 40-year-old, semi-retired, on the way out, Manny Pacquiao is still fighting top-tier competition, and other guys who are getting hyped to high heaven aren't. It says a lot about boxing, and it says a lot about its clientele and fan base, if I'm being honest. But there we go, Manny Pacquiao, he's not really going to get his credit until he retires, in my opinion. But shout out to Manny Pacquiao for taking this fight, because like I said, he doesn't need to take this fight. He really doesn't. But yeah, share your thoughts below. Tell me how you feel about this fight. Peace.